In today's matchup, we have Ivory Coast versus the Pink Dragon. Ahoy Plant Lovers, today I'm doing a compare and contrast video with the Ivory Coast and the Pink Dragon Alocasias. A lot of times these get mislabeled, Ivory Coast especially getting labeled as a Pink Dragon, and we're going to see the differences between the Pink Dragon and the Ivory Coast. There's some very easy ways to distinguish these two, and once you see them you'll be able to really easily tell the difference. Alright, we have our specimens here of Pink Dragon on the left and Ivory Coast Alocasia on the right. Both are Alocasias, very similar but very different when you know the differences. And when you have them side by side, it's easy to tell. Okay, first of all, with the Pink Dragon, the first thing I always look for if you're trying to compare the two is the stems or the petioles. You'll look at these stems, and the first thing you notice is they're fairly pure pink. There's not too much, there's a few dots on there, but overall it's fairly pure pink. When you look over here at an Ivory Coast stem, you notice a lot of blotching, kind of like stripes that aren't uniform. As it goes up, that kind of blotchy striping continues. Both petioles kind of get green towards the top, but it's along these stems that there's an obvious difference. The next thing you can look for is the back of the leaves. The Pink Dragon over here looks kind of black on the back. It's a very dark purple, and it looks really cool when it emerges. When a new leaf is coming out, you'll see this big black shape coming up. And the Ivory Coast, on the back of their leaves, you'll notice they're fairly green. I'll show you the back of this super mature one. If I can get it to focus on, there we go. Very green compared to the blackness of the Pink Dragon over there. Now I have a Pink Dragon in the ground over here. Probably last year I will do that because I was experimenting, seeing how it would change Pink Dragon being in the ground, and I didn't notice much of an improvement. Now this guy is flowering, so that might have something to do with it. He's been putting up flowers for probably the past month or two instead of growing leaves, so that might be something to do if you want to get flowers out of the Pink Dragon. So the main shape of the leaf is like a Pac-Man on these Ivory Coast. You know, fat and flat. There's a little bit of curling on the edge here. This is a new leaf, but if you look down the edge of them, you know, these guys are like a tabletop. They're flat. These guys are a little more ripply, like a black ripple Colocasia. These guys show ripple and indentation between these veins. You can see the edge over here. You get a nice wave. And not every leaf has that, but if you see one leaf having that, the Ivory Coast does not have that at all. Alright, so you're going to also have more prominent veins, because I'm sure this guy has close relations to the poly. And this guy, he has veins, but they're not really sticking out as much. As I kind of rub my hand over them, I can definitely feel the vein on a pink dragon, and I don't really feel those veins. If I was going by feeling alone, I wouldn't be able to tell you where the next vein started. So you do get some variation on the Ivory Coast leaves. You do get a few of these with like super long ears. Here's one over here, kind of boomerang shape. And you don't get too many shapes like that with the pink dragon. Let me show you what the baby leaves on a pink dragon look like. Yeah, the difference between a baby leaf on the Ivory Coast and the pink dragon being mostly that strong prominent vein. You don't really get those in the baby Ivory Coast. Okay, so one more difference that you can find between the Ivory Coast and the pink dragon is when a new leaf is emerging. The Ivory Coast new leaves are nice and, you know, vibrant green, kind of like a limish, yellowy green. And whenever you see a new leaf coming up on the pink dragon, I don't think I have any new leaves coming up. I think we have something like a flower coming up over there. Looks like it tried to put up a new leaf and then decided, nope, I'm going with the flower instead. So we have the pink dragon with no new leaves, but whenever a new leaf is coming up at that pink dragon, I have a picture. I know I've taken a picture of one of these new leaves coming up before. You see this big black or purpley leaf coming out. You will see the backs of the pink dragon leaves. You can see it's kind of opening up here. It is wrapped up in a tight tube, and you see the backs of these leaves. So if you have a pink dragon and a new leaf is coming up, you will see that dark purple leaf. And if you have an Ivory Coast, you will see a bright green leaf. That's another big difference, easy to tell them apart. A good thing about the differences between these financially is they're about the same price, which is a good thing, because if someone's mislabeled an Ivory Coast as a pink dragon and you are on here searching the differences to find out if what you have is actually a pink dragon or an Ivory Coast, you might be disappointed if you got one and realized, oh, this one is worth a lot less. But they are about the same value. You know, the pink dragon, the size of the pink dragon, it's not going to get as big as the Ivory Coast. One kind of characteristic of the Ivory Coast is that it gets really long and towery. I always remember Ivory Coast like the ivory towers. I don't know why that's always stuck in my mind, but they tower more than any other Alocasia. I think it's really cool as a indoor plant, house plant, because they're very structural, kind of skyscrapery, and they're very attractive as an indoor plant. And I would actually recommend getting an Ivory Coast over a pink dragon if you are looking for a decorative house plant. That is my opinion, though. There are certainly beautiful things about the pink dragon, but I would just suggest anyone having to pick between the two of getting an Ivory Coast for their house. Okay, so they're about the same value, you know, if the age is same. This one over here is going to be worth more than this one because this one is older. There's more budding plants at the base. This one, a funny story, my wife actually picked it up at the grocery store for $8. You know, it had like 3 or 4 less leaves, but still $8 for a plant that size is pretty amazing. So always be on the lookout for your grocery store super deals on plants. This is, again, the pink dragon Ivory Coast bunch over there. They are both Alocasias, and the nice thing is they both like about the same kind of care. There's not too much difference in their care. They like the same type of soil, they like the same type of light, they like the same type of watering, just like every other Alocasia that I can think of at the moment. I've got some others over here, the Regal Shield, the Metallica, the Stingray is a little different. That likes a lot more sun. Maybe the Frydek likes more sun than these guys too, but they like generally the same amount of care. You can see most of my pots are just the plastic nursery pots. We kind of have a debate of form over function. I like the nursery pots because it makes the plants really easy to care for. I believe that the nursery pots allow you to check on their roots to see how the soil is at the base of the pot easier, and it allows more holes for good, better drainage. Usually when you have a pot like the one over there, the red glazed pot, there's only one hole and it's kind of small and the drainage is not going to be as good. You'd multiply that times 5 or 10 and then you have a nursery pot. So I believe the pots are more functional, even though they don't look good. They kind of look cheap, but that's the nursery pot versus an actual expensive pot. You can put these plastic pots inside of a basket or something like that and improve it and get the best of both worlds. Alocasias, I have found, do better with a tray of rocks that you put some water in. It doesn't have to have water in it all the time, but a little bit of water in there pretty constantly does help give the roots at the base of the pot that humidity they like, and it allows them to grow out of the pot and soak up some water. And Alocasias will grow faster if they have more space to grow their roots out. As soon as the roots stop growing down and they hit the bottom of the pot, the growth of the plant tremendously slows down, and you will start getting these extra plants popping up around the base once the roots have hit the bottom and start circling around. Somehow that signals the plant to start creating babies around the top. So you'll see a lot of babies like this the longer you have it kind of root bound. And you don't want to put a plant like this. If I was to repot it and I put it in a huge pot, you don't want to do that because all this, it likes staying wet, but it doesn't want the soil to stay wet for a long time. All right, so I'm getting too much into care now. The main differences between the pink dragon and the Ivory Coast are most evident in the stems and the petioles, and the leaves are pretty easy to tell too once you've seen the two next to each other. But that's what this video is for, helping you discern what plant is an Ivory Coast and what plant is a pink dragon. All right, Ahoy Plant Lovers, if you've appreciated this video and enjoyed it, gotten some useful information out of it, please like and subscribe for more videos. We'll be putting out another compare and contrast video soon. I'd like to do the Black Beauty and Illustrious because there's a lot of confusion between those two. All right, thanks, and I'll see you next time.